Today we're going to make a old-time favorite. It's banana bread, and there's a lot of recipes out there for banana bread, but this one is the one that we found that seems to work real well for us. Into our mixing bowl, we are going to place 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This is easy to remember. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Salt kind of brings out the flavor of just about any sweet dessert that you may make. And we're going to put that down and just begin to mix it slowly. Otherwise you're going to have flour come up all over you. About the time you get it where it's just kind of mixing a little bit, beginning to look like there's bubbles and stuff, put in 4 tablespoonfuls of softened room temperature butter. Now I'm going to put in 3 mashed bananas. That right there was only 2, but I want to show you. These are the kind of bananas that you need to be getting. They look almost like they're overripe. When you mash on them, they're really soft, but they're not black skinned yet. That's what you want for your banana bread. I'm going to mash this banana up, and adding it will make my 3 mashed up bananas. You don't even have to mash them real well if they're soft. Having them in the mixer, they're going to mash up pretty well, mix in with that. And you probably think, well, where's the liquid to this? The banana seems to be all that you need, it and the fact that you put in a couple of eggs. As you can see, it makes a pretty good dough. All right, that looks pretty good. Gonna raise that. I'm going to put it in a prepared baking pan that I have here for a loaf pan. I have greased the loaf pan, but I did not flour it. It only has grease on it. Oil. Rather, better say oil. Old-fashioned cooks take grease to be bacon fat, so we don't want bacon fat on it. Even though bacon would be really good with banana. Pour that into our loaf pan. Kind of spread that out a little bit so it's even on all 4 corners. That's going to rise a little bit in the center anyway. Okay, now we're going to put that in our oven. Our oven is set at 350 and we're going to leave it in there anywhere from 50 to 60 minutes. Okay, now I'm just not the kind that can leave anything alone. We're not having plain banana bread. We're going to fix a topping for it. And in this saucepan, I'm going to put 4 tablespoonfuls of butter, a fourth a cup of sugar, a fourth a cup of brown sugar, and unless it says otherwise, you always pack that brown sugar in there. And I like using something a little richer, so I'm using a fourth a cup of half and half. We're going to turn this on a medium high sort of and begin to let that melt, kind of mix together. Okay, that has all melted together, and we're going to let that come to a boil while we stir it constantly. It kind of makes almost a caramel look. You can kind of see it's still kind of thin, but it's beginning to get that caramely look in there. Okay, it has now come to a boil. Make sure it's a good boil. Then we're going to take it off of the heat. And we're going to add 1/2 cup of chopped pecans and 1/2 cup coconut. And guess what we're going to do with this? When that bread comes out of the oven, we're going to put it over the bread and then put it back in for 5 minutes to set up, and then we'll have banana bread. Okay, we have had ours in there actually for 60 minutes. It took the full time. And while it's still hot, as you can see, the mixture we mixed a while ago with the nuts and the coconut has thickened up and gotten all nice and gooey. And we're just gonna put that on the top. We can kind of spread it out later. I began making my banana bread like this because my mom is unable to eat nuts. It's not that she's allergic to them, but she can't eat them. So it kind of left her out of some of the things that we made. So by putting it on top of the bread instead of in the bread, we made it to where that she could still enjoy the good banana bread and not miss out on anything. So you see, you can kind of vary things, you can change it up, all depending on the circumstances. And the fact that this reminds me a whole lot of German chocolate cake, which may be something to look at later on.